The biggest problem with making friends as an adult is when you need friends, you're feeling lonely, which is typically not coming from that state of confidence and excitement and belief in having friends that you have when you have friends. Also, you may remember maybe you were the kind of child who made friends so easily, and now in adulthood it seems really hard. So, I'm going to share with you a few of the tips that I use because I have had to start over many times because of moving or different life situations and making friends where I knew no one. So one of the most important things is to become a regular somewhere that you enjoy. So, here in a few minutes, I'm popping in at Treehouse Cafe and Traveler's Rest. I'm a regular here. I know the owner, I talk to her. We don't hang out outside of being at the cafe, but I feel like she's a friend, and I go here often enough that I also run into other people. When you pick a place to be a regular, you start to ground yourself in community. You start to have a spot where you're seen at the same time. Maybe it's even the same day on a regular basis. Years ago, I tried to take up running, which I may take it up again. And what I noticed was in my neighborhood at 8 a.m., there were always the same people running. So within 2 weeks of running in my neighborhood at 8 a.m. every morning, there were about 4 people I saw on a regular basis. Now, if I had gone to then a running store or a running club or whatever and bumped into them, we already have that familiarity with each other that would have made it easier to walk up and say, "Hey, I think I've seen you running before." Making new friends involves being vulnerable. And it's okay to practice with whatever pace you're ready. If you're already feeling vulnerable, the fact that you don't have a lot of friends, you may not want to put yourself out in a huge way because of the emotional effects of that. But I want to encourage you to start being vulnerable and starting up conversations with people anywhere and everywhere that you go. If you don't want to do it when you're in line somewhere, that's great. Chit chat with the person checking out at the library, the person checking your groceries out, the waiter bringing your food. Anywhere and everywhere that you can, try and start conversations. And just notice if it doesn't feel natural or you don't like that conversation starter, you don't have to use it again. Another resource that I really want to direct you to, there's an author and speaker, Shasta Nelson. She has written multiple books on friendship. And one of the things she talks about that is really important for friendship is frequency. Now, as an adult, you probably have old friends who perhaps you see them once a year or every other year. The reason having them in your life feels like not enough is there's not the frequency of contact there, the weekly or every other weekly or monthly connection with them. So, going back to showing up somewhere regularly, you start to develop the frequency of seeing these people. This is the other reason many people suggest taking a class, joining a club, doing something where you're going to see people. I find more than once a month is really helpful. Once a month, oftentimes, in my opinion, seems like not long enough to keep that connection going. Now, you could go to something that's once a month and then ask someone else, "Hey, do you want to connect up in 2 weeks to talk about the book, to practice our knitting, to work on that parenting skill we're learning?" Whatever it is you're learning in the group. Try and make a connection that's beyond that once a month interaction and see where it goes. I will also share, I have many times taken classes, joined book clubs, whatnot, trying to meet people. And even though I love doing those things, I've actually not seen that be the way that it works out for me. So you may also want to notice, what are the things you do in your life? I still take the actions that are likely going to have me meet people, and yet I tend to meet people randomly and start up a conversation, and then we continue the conversation, and then that leads into a friendship. Now, I mentioned taking classes and going to book clubs. These are two things that are high areas of desire and delight for me. I love learning new things. I love reading books. And so for me, those are natural areas where if I'm already reading a book, might as well go to a book club and see, do I like the people there? I read a new book, maybe I meet a new friend. It's a natural extension of who I am. So think about what are the natural extensions of either the interests you have, the values you have, and or activities that you're already doing that you could then bring in and meet new people. So I have a delightful friend, Monica, and she dyes yarn. Now, she first started out as a knitter, but then after she'd been knitting for a while, she was really interested in it and decided to start dyeing yarn. Moving from knitting to dyeing yarn introduced her to new people, new skills, of course. And so she took her interests further and perhaps tangentially, which opened up then opportunity for her to meet more people. So if you've tried, let's say, joining a book club or doing something related to one of your hobbies and you're not finding that community that you want, perhaps look at, is there something that's tangentially related to that, that's connected to that, that's something else that you could explore. It's really nice when you're trying to make friends to go ahead and tap into something that's already happening on a regular basis, where there's already a built-in community, so that it makes it easy to, oh, I don't have to wonder when I'm going to see these people again.